Glasgow is a city of over 600,000 people. There are families, couples, individuals, friends and strangers, all working and living across the city. As you walk down any street, or take a bus, or drive your car, or pass by windows on the train, you can just pass it all by, not noticing. Even standing still, people pass you by. They make their way to work, school, the shops, college, to a game of football. Glasgow is a flourishing city. This is a typical street in Glasgow. Houses and flats within the same postcode. There are around 68 homes on the average street in Glasgow, with approximately 130 people living in this street. In every one of these streets, you pass by people caring for someone with dementia or a long-term condition. Some of them will be husbands and wives living with their partners as they slowly fade away in front of them. Some will be young mothers or fathers, juggling the intensity of their work, children, and the daily worry of their parents' demise. Sons, daughters, fathers and mothers, people you know are caring. I'm Tommy Whitelaw, and for the past 7 years I was a full-time carer for my mum Joan. After years working hard, like both my parents, I came back to Glasgow to live with and care for my mother. In September 2012, my mother sadly passed away. Caring for mum was a full-time occupation. It was the toughest experience of my life. For the first 5 years, I did this almost entirely alone. Yes, we had friends, neighbours and family, but slowly loneliness and isolation took their place, leaving us both struggling to cope. It was not until I reached absolute crisis that I found myself on the phone asking for help. Looking back, I wish I'd picked up the phone sooner. Asking for help, it's okay to ask. It's not something we are always taught to do. We are a very private people. We keep our private matters to ourselves. But the truth is, without help, it can just become unbearable. Here in Glasgow, there are services that are here to help. You may have no need of it for yourself, but think of the people in your street, in your workplace, in your football team, or even in your own family. Some of them may need to ask for help. Let's hear from some carers and their personal experiences of reaching out and asking for help.
Well, before we get any help in, I just felt as if I was running around in circles. I felt basically as if I was going off my head. Just things were getting on top of me, and it was just getting much too difficult. I wasn't going out at weekends, I wasn't socialising because it was just becoming all-consuming with my mum. It was my sister Kay who just looked at me and said, right, this is enough, enough's enough. That was taking too much of a toll on me, and she said we really need to look out and see what other help we can get. And at that point I got involved with the social work department, and they spoke to us about a course that was coming up in my local carer centre. So that was absolutely amazing, because you were then in a place with people who were in exactly the same situation as yourself. And the information that we were given there was unbelievable. It was just incredible. It just lifted a huge weight off my shoulders. Well, there's actually a carers nurse getting involved. She contacted me one day and she was talking away to me, and obviously I'm not used to dealing with things for my mum. And she said, I want to make an appointment to come out and see you. And I said, but you don't want to see my mum? And she said, no, I want to see you. And I was going, me? I couldn't understand why she would want to come and see me. And obviously there's another thing come out of that, and it was called emergency planning, which is everything gets set in place. If anything happened to me, people would know exactly what to do with my mum. So that's taken a huge weight off my shoulders. I mean, before that I felt as if there was a huge pressure on me, whereas now, I feel as if everything's I can see clearer again. Day-to-day life is definitely better. My mum has carers who go in 4 times a day, but she also has been in respite as well through being introduced to this through the social work department in Alzheimer Scotland. And it's just been amazing because she goes away and she's having a break and coming back and she feels refreshed and I feel refreshed again.
Probably realised I was a carer about 7-8 months ago. It was a real shock to my system, especially because I'm male and I always associate carers with being females and a bit older, but it's not the case, and the more I've spoken to people and found out about things, the more I realise that there's a lot of male carers in my age group out there.
Obviously it's a massive thing when you realise that you are a carer, because it's a life change, it's a life dependency. And David started to get a bit stressed and anxious, and so spoke to people at the carer centre at Annie's Land. And David actually goes and takes part in extra support groups, and he's benefited massively because, like he said, until David started going to these things, he thought, I'm unusual, I'm a relatively young guy, there can't be many guys in my situation. But it's been great because he's encountered other guys in his situation, and eventually we got some help from the Build Association, and they started coming in and taking Doreen out one afternoon a week, and they would do her shopping with her, which was something that we then didn't have to do, which sort of freed up a little bit of time there. And then they got her in to doing a sort of exercise class on a Wednesday afternoon, which she felt good about because she was doing some exercise, and again it freed up more time for us. It's made a huge difference to David, and we've both learned lots of new ways to interact with his mum.
In terms of quality of our lives, anybody that can come in and help is a benefit and does take pressure off.
To begin with, it was a steep learning curve. I found myself taking over all the household chores like washing, cooking and cleaning the house, etc. As things got worse, I found that not only was I not helping my wife, which was the important thing to do, I found that I wasn't doing myself much good. My health was beginning to suffer. It was then I swallowed my pride, as it were, and sought help. I went to the Carers Centre at Annie's Land, and they put me in touch with Alzheimer Scotland. They were able to organise a series of courses in which we had speakers coming who would talk about the various problems confronting carers and the patients. A legal expert came and talked to us about the power of attorney. I didn't have the power of attorney at that time, but he stressed how important it was to attain the power of attorney. Someone from Alzheimer's Scotland came to visit me to check up, and I was getting everything that was entitled to, and we started talking about football. He said, we'll get you back to football, and he arranged for a sitter to come for a series of matches so that I could get back and watch the team that I'd been supporting for years and years. That was a great joy to me, and she was uplifted by having these sitters for 2 or 3 hours and enjoying their company. And usually there were people from Glasgow and knew about where she was born in Maryhill and could talk about the various places that she knew and could still remember. So that was a great benefit to her, and it was a great relief to me.
I was feeling stretched physically and mentally and emotionally to my limit. I actually said to my dad, you have a choice. At the end of the day, you have a choice. You either take this on board, Dad, you help me to help you, because if you don't do this, then I'm going to crumble. The services for my dad initially that were engaging in was to go to like a day centre, and down the line a wee bit, he was invited to take in cordia, to get the services from them. As a result of my dad hurting his back, the doctor came in and said to him, "You're going to have to either go into hospital or accept this care." And he grudgingly accepted it. And now they come in, they do med prompts, which is really good. So that has made a difference. That has made a big difference for me. And that was through the carers, because making me aware of that service. And one of the groups that we went to, I attended, was to do with learning about dementia and Alzheimer's, different things. And as a result of that, 2 years later, we still meet. So you find friendship. You find a shoulder to cry on if you need it, and you get that. And that's, you couldn't buy this, and it's worth its weight in gold.
Don't be afraid to pick up the phone and ask for help, because these services are there for you specifically, and once you've done it, you'll feel a huge difference in your life.
It's not about how people will observe you, it's about doing what's the best thing for you and for them.
And it's not invasive. These people don't come in and take over your life. They don't come in and take over anything. It can be as simple as just having a chat and just feeling able to say, "I'm so frustrated," and just having somebody else say, "You know what, you're doing a good job, what you're doing is a good thing," can sometimes just mean the world of difference.
If you're even thinking about it, you should do it, because the caring can be for yourself as a carer as well as for the person.
Please, go and seek help from them, and you will be rewarded, not just for yourself as a carer, but more importantly, for the patient that you love and care for.
All carers in Glasgow have a shared experience, caring for a partner, father, mother, brother, sister, or perhaps a neighbour or a friend. Getting advice, support, information and training can be key to improving both your health and that of the person you look after. If you would like more information, you can call 0141 353 6504, email or visit our website.